Good evening. My name is Brad Reeves, and welcome. Tonight is a very special night because tonight we kick off our new Bible reading plan. This plan is a 365-day reading plan that goes straight through the Bible. We will begin in Genesis 1 and work our way until we reach Revelations 21 later this year. For those who do not know me well, I will be posting an About Me video in the coming days, followed by a short video addressing why I'm beginning this series in the first place. As this series unfolds, this channel may grow and morph as I discover not only my own personal style and longings for this channel, but as I learn and discern the wants and the needs of you, the viewer, and also adhere to the guiding of the Holy Spirit. If you have any questions, feedback, or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below or message me directly. I will do my best to address all of them in a respectful and a timely manner. For those of you who are wanting to join me on this journey of reading through the entire Bible in a year, feel free to download a copy of the reading plan link below and subscribe to the channel to hear my thoughts, questions, and commentary on the biblical text. Now let's get started. Genesis chapter 1 recounts the creation of the world. Genesis 1:1 tells us that it was a supreme being, God, who created said world, and he used his voice as an instrument of creation. In other words, God spoke creation into existence. The world was created in 6 days, and it was good. In fact, this imparted value of goodness came from God himself. Stop and think about that for just a moment. With each and everything that God created, he imparted value to it. He said that it was good. But upon the creation of humanity, God imparted the value very good. This is significant and an important detail to explore. I would suggest that you pause the video and take a moment to brainstorm and reflect upon this. Now, Genesis chapter 2 revisits the creation narrative presented in chapter 1, but it adds a couple of important details regarding the relationship dynamics between Adam, Eve, and God. Furthermore, we discover brief insight into life on earth prior to the fall of humankind. In verses 5 and 6, describe a few differences between life on earth pre-fall and post-fall. I would suggest that you take a moment and see if you could discover those differences for yourself. Now, chapter 2 also illustrates the poetic moment wherein the very breath of God becomes the life source for humanity. In verse 15, God gives man a purpose to explore and take care of the land. In verse 22, God gave man a helper, woman. Lastly, in chapter 2, I cannot forget to mention that God gives man a command. Yes, God gives man a command to not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But also God gives man a consequence. If he are to act in disobedience, that consequence would be death. Now moving forward to Genesis chapter 3, the fall of humanity. Within this chapter, we are introduced to a new character, the serpent. The serpent is described as a crafty character, and he is seen tempting the woman to disobey God's command, in particular with regards to the consumption of the forbidden fruit. Now, in short, the woman gives in, but so does the man. They both disobey God. And the immediate consequence for their disobedience is shame. Now, we as the reader begin to observe that the relationship dynamics between Adam, Eve, and God shift. Adam blames his wife, and Eve blames the servant, and neither take responsibility for their disobedience nor repent of their actions. Adam and Eve hide from God rather than pursue him. Their relationship with God has been fractured. This is evident in God's curse upon the land, his curse upon the servant, and his curse upon the woman. Yet in the midst of this fractured relationship, God is revealed to be a benevolent redeemer. Were there consequences for the actions of Adam, Eve, and the serpent? Yes, but God intervened. Being aware of their newly discovered shame, God made garments for Adam and his wife. Now, as we end today's section, I want you to reflect upon that very gracious act of God. And furthermore, begin to ask, how has God been gracious to you? Thanks everyone for joining me today. If you'd like to continue following along with the series, please tune in tomorrow for Genesis 4 through 7. Thanks again. See you soon.